Hey YouTube, Matty's Daddy 12, Team JMT, coming to you guys with another deck profile. But first, I want to show off this mat that my wife bought me. She's amazing, and she buys me stuff like this so I can look at stuff like this while I play a children's card game. It's probably inappropriate, but I think it's okay. So, let's get into this profile. It is Fire Fist. It's probably the only tier deck right now that really plays my pace and really fits my play style. So I really felt like it was probably the best deck for me to choose to play right now. So yeah, let's get into this. You start off with 3 bear and 1 gorilla. That's pretty well the lineup that everybody uses in no matter what Fire Fist kind of deck they're building, whether it be Dino Fist or whether it be just pure Fire Fist. That's pretty well the lineup. Let me get this out of your way so you guys can keep looking. 2 rabbit and 3 Gene Warp Werewolf. Again, that's pretty well where everybody goes unless they're playing the Dino Fist, where they would need the 3 dinos. I'm trying out Tengu, which has been working out real well. Makes for a lot of creative plays and makes for a lot of plays that is hard for your opponent to deal with, especially when you go opening hand Tengu Torrential and they summon and you torrential, and then you get your Tengu replacement and everything. It's just really good stuff. Hasn't been nearly as good at 2 since it went down to 2 from 3, but it's still pretty good. Another card that I'm trying out is Wind Up Rabbit. Now, the reasoning behind this is kind of for the same play that Tengu would give you with Torrential Tribute, but it's searchable by Tinky. It plays well with Torrential Tribute and some of your other cards. It plays around a lot of what your opponent is wanting to do. It's kind of the same premise as Winged Rhino, just a little bit smaller. But the biggest reason that I like it is because it's a level 3, and you pair that with the 2 tour guides that you run, and it makes for a lot more rank 3 plays. It's been testing okay so far. Wind Up Rabbit has been, but I'm really not for sure about that. That may become Winged Rhinos again. I don't really know, but that's what I've been testing so far. That's just one of my little tech choices, and it's actually been paying off right now. So now the spells. Triple Tinky and 1 Tensu, like the triple bear, and 1 gorilla. This is pretty standard in most anybody's deck that's running Fire Fist right now. 1 Pot of Avarice. This was something that I decided to try whenever I added in the Tengus. You are running 2 rabbit, and you only got the 3 normals, so immediately starting the game, 1 of your rabbits is dead. So you need to be able to put those normals back in order to make the second rabbit live, and you also want to make Tengu as live as possible for as long as possible. So running Pot of Avarice, also paired with Digusto Emerald, makes all those plays possible. So yeah, 1 Pot of Avarice. The Trinity, as most people have said, Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm. I play those along with triple MST and double Lance, and that rounds out my spells. I run Lance because you run a rather low monster count. You want to make sure your monsters stick to the field, and being able to use battle phase tricks is always good, right? So there you go. There's the spells. So now let's get into the traps. Starlight Road. I'm actually at 41 cards right now. I've considered dropping this. The biggest reason is because I still dislike this card because I feel like it is a very obvious play, and also I feel like I could use this slot differently. It's one of those things where, do I need to play the card, or can I let the other players play the card for me? And what I mean by that is, do I need this card in my deck, or when I'm sitting at a table, somebody's like, oh, he's playing Fire Fist, he's setting 3 back row, okay, he's playing Starlight Road, I need to play around that. When in all actuality, I don't have the card at all. I don't even have the card in my deck. So I let my opponent play the card for me. opening up a slot in my deck. However, I've just decided just to play it, pushing the deck up to 41. But yeah, I could honestly drop that down to 40 and not miss a beat. Solemn Judgment, Solemn Warning. I mean, it's the Solemn duo. It does what it does, and it's good at it. Next, Double Torrential Tribute, Double Bottomless for my monster summoning answers, Double Mirror Force, and 1 D-Prison to answer my monster attack issues. You've got to protect Bear, so that's the biggest reason why this stuff is in there, because you have to protect Bear, and is another reason why I'm trying out as a one of Horn of the Phantom Beast. At 1600, 17 with a Tinky or a Tensu, Bear is not really that impressive, and he's not really that scary. So Horn of the Phantom Beast gives me that just little surprise factor, and as a one of, you don't really see it very often, so it never really clogs up your backfield or your deck or anything. So it's good at 1, and it's a really big surprise factor. Nobody really expects that. And then to round it out, 2 Breakthrough Skill. Now, kind of like the Wind-Up Rabbit, this is something that kind of struck me, and I was like, hey, I want to try it. Mainly because Fiendish Chain loses to MST, and everybody is running 3 MST right now. So Fiendish Chain loses to Breakthrough Skill, or loses to MST. Breakthrough Skill does not. Breakthrough Skill you can actually use twice, once during your turn or your opponent's turn, and then once during your turn only, by removing it from the graveyard. So it's a little more useful because you can use it twice, and it's not hurt by MST. They can MST this, and you can still use it from the graveyard on your opponent's monster, and it doesn't hurt you at all. So that's good. However, if they bring out like a Caius or a Ryza in the Frog Monarch matchup, and let's say they target Bear with Caius, and you Breakthrough Skill it, they can still just run over Bear with Caius, where if it was Fiendish Chain instead, I could then just pop Tinky and blow up that card. So Fiendish Chain does a little bit better job of protecting Bear than what Breakthrough Skill does. So this is probably going to turn back into 2 Fiendish Chain, but for right now, I'm trying out Breakthrough Skill, and it's actually been testing fairly well. Extra deck is actually rather simple. Stardust Dragon for the Starlight Road, double Tiger King, and 1 Dire Wolf. I want to talk about these 3 together because they have great effects but awkwardly low attacks. At 2200 and 2000, you invest a lot to get these guys onto the field. Dire Wolf actually makes a lot of really good plays with Wind-Up Rabbit too. You can target Wind-Up Rabbit and then just make Rabbit disappear, blowing up their card and not losing your card at all. But anyway, that's another subject on itself. But their awkwardly low attacks kind of makes the Horn of the Phantom Beast just a little bit better, because that makes Dire Wolf 2800, where normally you're setting at a 2000, which is normally, pretty manageable for most decks. Even the 22 is pretty manageable for most decks, but you can make him 3000, which catches a lot of players off guard. Next, we have 1 Daigusto Emerald. It is a miniature Pot of Avarice, and it is really, really good, guys. You guys have to be using this card, especially if you're running anything with Rabbit, because not only can you put your normals back in, making Rabbit live again, but you could also detach 1 to special summon a non-effect monster from your graveyard. So you could actually get your normals back from the graveyard, which could increase your plays. So yeah, Emerald has to be in your deck if you're running Rabbit. 1 Cowboy, 1 Lightning Chidori, just because I have a little extra room, and I'm running the 2 Tengu, so it's the only play that I have for it is the 2 Tengu right now. However, Wind-Up Rabbit may become Winged Rhinos again, so if those 2 cards become Rhinos again, Lightning Chidori will be a lot easier to go into, and he's actually really good also. One Abyss Dweller. This is actually going to become 2. However, we've got some guys in our locals that are playing Evil Swarms. So Gem Knight Pearl is an extra deck answer to Evil Swarm. However, if I do go to an event, I feel like I'm going to have 2 Dweller instead of the Gem Knight Pearl, just because Dweller helps in the Mermail matchup so much more. 1 Black Ship of Corn, 1 Maestro. For my level 3s, I have a number 17 Leviathan Dragon, Wind Up Zenmaines, Leviair, and quite possibly the best level 3 ever, Tempo. So there you go, guys. That is my wow, that didn't work out at all, did it? That's my Fire Fist deck. Let's run through this one more time real quick. But yeah, that's my Fire Fist deck, and that's my new mat. My beautiful wife got me this mat, and I love her so much because she gets me good stuff like this. But yeah, guys, there it is. I hope you can learn from this deck profile, and I hope you guys can try out some different things in your decks. I hope that you guys can take some of these ideas and maybe implement them into some of your own decks and make them a little bit better also. So there you go, guys. I appreciate it. Subscribe. Comment down below. Show us how much you love us.